So you played a show in like Chicago yesterday, right?
Yeah.
You played with Underscores.
Yeah, that was the last date of our little mini tour, like DJ set tour.
Okay, that was the last one. Because
Last night
I've been
was,
seeing
yeah.
the sets pop up like
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the feed, right? That's super sick. We saw a little photo with you guys and Kim J.
hmm
We're big fans of Kim J. You guys working on anything or just kind of?
Yeah, we did for a night. Yeah, Kim was playing with Nate Sib
Oh,
the
word.
same night as our show, so we went to that before our show. It was like
That's sick.
an earlier set. But yeah, we were all in Chicago the day before as well.
Oh, so it just happened to work out like that.
Yeah, it just happened like that was like the day of we found that out.
That's super sick. Okay, yeah. And then with like you and Underscores, like Poplife, we like love listening to Poplife, and I was just curious, like, how did that track even come about?
It's kind of our first song. It's like we were roommates and like friends for years and years, and like never really we worked on like production and stuff sometimes, but like we never like put out a song together. And
Sure,
it was
okay.
like kind of us just thinking like we really should do that. Like I don't know, there was it's probably about a year old now. Like I remember last summer when I opened for her like show in New York was around when we like started the song, and
So it's
yeah,
kind of been
I
just
don't know.
sitting in the dry for like a year.
I mean, we were finishing it up over that time.
Okay,
But,
yeah.
yeah, I'm so glad we got to put it out and just like
It's so
Yeah.
good. Like, like I love
Thank
listening to
you.
that song. Is
Thank
it
you, yeah.
the first of many, or you think you guys just one off for right now, or like?
it's a single right now, but yeah, I mean, I really love working on that. Like it was really fun to work on. I'm sure we'll do more.
I feel like Underscores would be a really like super cool person to work with in the studio. Do you guys normally go like remote, like online, or was it in person?
I mean, we lived together for ages, but it's
Yeah.
funny because it wasn't like we were working on music every day. But
Yeah.
we did this in person for the most part, but she'd kind of go and record vocals because she can do it all herself. I wasn't like when I work with like an artist that's
Yeah.
not a producer, like I'm recording them, but she would just go and like do it all and then come back and then we'd work on it together, you know. So it's kind of different than like working with someone who's not also self-producing everything.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You've worked with like so many people over your career. Is it mostly people that like you run the session for and kind of control the whole environment, or do you work with a lot of self prod kind of people too?
I've done both. I mean, I've done a lot of also just working with other producers that are working with artists, and yeah, I wouldn't say I'm always like running the session or whatever, but yeah, I've done both, I guess.
Does any like session or like artist kind of stick out in your mind of like, wow, like that was like we were in flow, so really going for it?
I mean, lots of people. Most recently I worked on a whole bunch of Cortisa Star stuff for her. So her EP that she put out, I worked on like 7 of the songs in like some capacity. But it was like we did one session, or like it was like 2 days of sessions in a row, where I thought like we were just kind of getting started and like learning what was working and wasn't, and then she wanted to put out like every single one of the songs. Like we haven't worked on any songs that aren't out, which is crazy. Because
I feel like that's a pretty stark contrast. Because from what I understand, like working with like Charli or someone, like you probably worked on a lot of stuff that never saw the light of day.
yeah,
right?
tons of music. Yeah, usually most things you work on, you kind of I used to really be like upset about that, and I got very used to it quickly. That it's like most things are not going to come out if it's not your song and it's not up to you. If you're
Like,
producing for someone.
Party was the one that didn't come out, right?
Oh my god, yeah, that's ancient history.
Yeah. So from what I understand, how you got started, kind of at least with PC music, was AG found like a really old remix of a Tommy Cash song, right?
That's one of the things he found. Yeah, he sent me an email like he listed a couple things that he'd heard on SoundCloud, and was like, I'd love to work on stuff, and these are the things I like that you did. Yeah, still so crazy to me.
That must be so surreal, like just kind of like doing your own thing, probably like never really interacted with that side of music besides being a fan or something maybe, right?
Yeah, and I wasn't even a huge fan at the time. It was like a Sophie fan. I was like a sound design kind of person. Like I didn't really, I wasn't following the whole sort of like pop music thing really at all. I wasn't working with vocals regularly and stuff like that. So yeah, I was making totally different music back then.
Yeah. What was kind of the gap between like AG reaching out and then you getting to like working with Charli? Like, was there like did you kind of ease into it, or all of a sudden you just get?
It was directly through him. It was some of the first stuff we worked on. We did he came to New York at some point, and we did like worked in person on some stuff that was like that was a little bit before, but it was like one of the first things we did was the song that's on Pop 2.
That must have been super surreal. Like I don't know. But you didn't meet Charli until like later after working with or working for
a bit
her,
later.
right?
Yeah, I met her. I think the first time I met her was when she had the tour for that album, for that mixtape for Pop 2.
Okay.
There was a New York show where I like got to go on stage and stuff, and that was the first time I met, which was after the song came out.
Do you mind if I ask how old you were, like when that happened?
I was 18.
That's crazy.
When I Got It came out, I was 18.
I kind of want to ask you about your production,
Mhm.
just in general of like when you start producing like on something, like let's say you're working with an artist, or you're doing like a remix or something on your own, like do you kind of hear what you want to do, or like do you just kind of mess around until you get the direction? You know?
I have to do a lot of messing around. I'm not like I don't have a whole idea in my head and then it's there. Or if I do, the thing I end up making ends up being different. Like I'm definitely a lot of like, I do a lot of just messing with stuff.
Happy accidents.
Yeah, for sure. For me, that's like a lot of it, I think.
I think that's sometimes better too, because it's like if you suspend all the expectations and you get something totally different than what you would have wanted otherwise, it might be better, right?
Right, yeah. I know, at least different. And it's like, yeah, I'm not good at like copying stuff. Like people will have references and ideas, and then the thing I end up making based on that will be so different that it like is its own thing, which is.
So that's how you get the style. That's how you have your own sound, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, if you don't mind me asking more about your production, like, how many layers do you think the biggest song has been?
How many layers?
Yeah.
I don't know. Overall my stuff is simple. It's like I don't really like know how to mix music. Like I really do a lot of just cutting stuff out of only having a few things happening at once.
Okay.
But I don't know. I've definitely done larger productions, but I really don't know. I don't know the answer.
I know your discography is probably so vast at this point, like if you include everything, but like, is there anything that you think like, any specific passage or song or moment that you just like absolutely love that you think may fly under the radar for most people?
Oh, good question. Something that flies under the radar. I don't know. I have to think about it.
Like 10 different answers came to your head.
Well, no, I'm not even sure. Yeah. Damn. I don't know. I did a whole album with this artist AJ Simmons, or I did most of the album. Like I produced a good chunk of his album in like 2021, 2022. It might have come out. That like streaming wise or whatever wasn't like a massive project,
I mean,
but
that
I
doesn't
really
matter.
some of my that's what I mean though, is that it flew under the radar in that sense. It's like heads no, but it's like really, really good project, I think. Like AJ is one of my favorite artists, and
That's sick. All right. I'll have to give that a listen.
yeah,
Again.
AJ Simmons. God, what's the album called? I can't even remember. But yeah, it's like
I mean, you
really.
made a lot of
I had a
music.
great time working on that project. Yeah.
So I mean, I know like probably like a lot of the PC music, and then I know probably during the pandemic too, it was probably mostly remote. Do you prefer that, or do you prefer being in the room with the person? Or like...
I've done a lot of stuff where it's like I couldn't have done it without being in the room, but it still feels new to me. Like I'm not like a natural. I like getting stuff done on the spot. So I'm still like learning to do it better, but like I've done plenty of stuff where it's like I couldn't have done it the same way by just sending stuff to people, and I usually get I think better results when I'm not just sending stuff out into the void, and I'm like
hands-on,
kind of communicating with whoever I'm working with. But
yeah, that makes sense. This is kind of going to step out of like your production, but like I know from what I understand when you were getting started, like a big part of what inspired you would be like, well, PC music for sure, but then like the kind of like bass beat scene, like the Mr. Carmack kind of stuff, which I used to listen to Mr. Carmack too. But I was just kind of wondering now, are there any like scenes or like niches or artists that kind of give you that same feeling of like, wow, like that total inspiration?
All the time, like, yeah, you mean like newer?
Yeah, people now, or even like the last 5 years or something.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of stuff. I feel like I'm always still just, especially as a DJ, like just looking for music all the time. And not that I even feel like I'm the most tapped in person in most cases, but like, yeah, there's always something that I'm like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like I don't know. I got to go to Brazil this year, early this year,
sick.
and like
Yeah,
obviously
yeah.
I've already been listening to like Brazilian producers for the past like I don't know 5 or 6 years, but yeah, getting to meet some of these
Yeah,
people in
yeah.
person and like watch them work and stuff has been really cool.
The Brazilian scene. Okay,
Yeah,
I
and
got it happened. Yeah.
I don't know. Step Team is really sick,
Step team.
really sick. Just like production kind of collective.
Yeah, yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, I'm super impressed by all the beats that they're making. Like, it
For you to say that
feels
too
like a
is
new,
that's crazy.
feels like a new thing, and it's also like cool because it's like some of these very specific samples that they use are like the same ones that we had like whatever like SoundCloud based producers.
Recycled, yeah,
They use
yeah,
these
yeah.
like drumline roll samples and stuff. Are like I've heard that a million times, but it's like, oh, this is a whole new thing. Like
The Vengeance Pack.
I love that kind
rehashed.
of thing. Yeah.
Oh, that's super sick. Okay, all right. I had a couple more questions, and then
Yeah.
we can be done if you don't mind. I remember like making music in like 2020, like pandemic time, and seeing the Umru splice pack pop up in front of me, and so many of those sounds were like so like pivotal and sick to use in so many productions. And from what I understand, you work kind of with Splice or at Splice.
Yeah.
Is that still like kind of ongoing, or you kind of?
Yeah. I have a sample pack label that I curate called Moment, and so
Okay, that's all
that's
three
all.
with you. Okay.
Yeah, that's all people that I like. Basically, yeah, I'm like the A&R or curator for it. Like we're
Oh,
picking
nice.
people to make sample packs.
Wow.
And kind of part of why I haven't done a new sample pack in so long is because I feel like all the packs we put out are so much higher level than the ones I made, a few years ago. And it's
Okay.
like been intimidating to work on a new one on my own.
Or maybe you just don't want to give away all the production songs.
I mean, I love the idea of like, giving people sounds, but it's like my packs don't even like hold a candle to the stuff that we're putting out on this label. It's like people that really know what they're doing.
I think you know what you're doing, man. I mean, look at
Oh,
your
no.
career. Like, I think you know what you're doing. I have one more question. This is a bit more like just kind of conceptual about production. We were kind of doing like a longer form piece about like hardware versus software in music, and not that like I don't think one is better, but you get both sides of the spectrum with people depending on what kind of artist you're talking to. I know you use Ableton. I love
Yeah.
Ableton. Do you? I'm sure you do most of it in Ableton, but do you use any hardware or?
Basically, no. I'm like a very, in the canon of PC music,
Yeah.
I guess. Very like in the box producer. I've recently been like messing with more things. I've like, the main thing is I've worked a ton with Warpster, who like uses a lot more gear than me.
Uh-huh.
So we have a lot of music out together that like uses various stuff. Like he has a lot of Electron
Okay, sure.
synths and like other gear that's like he's just really quick and good at working on it and like gets different results. I definitely feel like you can do everything with any tool, but it's cool to try different workflows and stuff. It's just like whenever I feel like whenever I have like access to some piece of gear, I'll like try and mess with it. I'll try and record a bunch of stuff, but it's not like I wouldn't say it's central to what I do.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like it's always harder than the way I would do it on my computer.
Is there any plugins you've been using recently that you kind of just want to shout out as like recently I use this all the time, or it just like always comes to mind,
I'm trying to think if there's anything new.
You don't gotta share. I was just curious.
Kind of just using the same stuff I've always been using, honestly. I got these guys, the Usual Suspects, made like it's literally just an emulator of like the Virus, which is a piece of hardware,
Yeah.
but it's a software synth, but it's
Yeah.
it's a box that people have, and I got this like emulator of it that these guys made like basically for free. So I've been messing with that a lot recently just to see
What is it called?
See what's in it. It's called like OST Iris. It's like
Iris,
literally
okay.
it just is the Virus,
Yeah.
the same software that's on the Virus. And
That's sick.
But,
Okay.
they like kind of ported it to be a plugin.
Oh, that's a,
So that's what I've been trying that a lot recently.
Okay. I mean, I'm pretty much at the end of my questions. I just have like one like small one. Is I know really recently you released a remix of a Magna Carta song with Nina Geraci, right?
Yeah.
And we're big fans of both artists. I was just wondering, how did you like get that to happen, or how'd you meet them, or how did that kind of?
Well, Nina I've known for ages. We were
Yeah.
both kind of like, yeah, in the same sort of producer scenes forever. And yeah, Magna Carta also live in New York. Like I've also met them probably a couple years ago at this point. But I did a tour with Nina
Yeah.
earlier this year, like a U.S. tour, where we were kind of doing a B2B set. That I made the remix for that, just to sort of play
Oh, okay.
in those sets, and it wasn't. It was like an edit, like a tool, not even necessarily meant to come out or anything.
Oh, okay.
And then yeah, all three of us, or all four of us, are going on tour in Australia now later in the summer.
Oh, I think I saw
Yeah.
the dates for that. That's super sick.
Yeah, so it's kind of. I'm glad we got to put that out. It's super fun.
Anything on the horizon that you're looking forward to besides the tour, obviously?
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
I just keep playing shows. I'm going back to Europe in the summer, and
Oh, that's sick.
possibly Asia after I go to Australia is my plan.
Little
So,
world
yeah.
tour kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm always working on music. Yeah.
That's awesome, dude. Like, your story is super inspiring too. Like the whole just like very humble SoundCloud remix kind of genres. Like, I love. That's kind of what I got into too when I was really young. Like making just SoundCloud remixes. That's just super sick to hear.
Yeah.
I don't have any more questions, but
Cool.
I really appreciated talking to you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Yeah.
Appreciate it.